All right, this is page 2 of chapter 5, Physical Geography of the United States and Canada. We start out with Mount McKinley. This is the highest point in North America, extending over 320 feet, and it's located in Alaska. The Native American name for it is Denali. And then our lowest place is Death Valley. Lowest place in the United States. It's also part of the Great Basin, and it's 279 feet below sea level. All right, headwaters. This is the source of a river or its beginning. And a tributary is a smaller river or stream that connects with a larger river. So these two pictures are showing the beginnings of the Mississippi. It's kind of funny to see this picture, Mississippi River, and basically a stream that's, 6 or 7 feet across, and the picture says, yes, this is the Mississippi. But it's got to have a start somewhere, and right here it says 1,475 feet above sea level. It begins its flow down 2,552 miles to the Gulf of Mexico. On this map here, you can also see all of the rivers and tributaries. Again, that continental divide we talked about, everything on the east flowing into the Mississippi there, everything over here flowing west into the Mississippi. The Missouri, the Ohio, very large rivers in themselves, and they also have many tributaries. So the farther south you get, the larger that river becomes. Okay, the fall line, this is the place where the higher land of the Piedmont, which is a low plateau, drops to the lower Atlantic coastal plain. So going from the coastal areas inland, it starts to rise up until you get to this line, which is the fall line. All right, some of the natural resources that we can find in this region. We've got fresh water, again, as I mentioned previously, lots of fresh water, petroleum, natural gas, coal. Here in Utah, we have quite a bit of coal that's come out of some of our mountains, gold, silver, copper. Up north in Utah, Kennecott Copper Mine, I think it's the world's largest open pit copper mine. Iron, nickel, potash, timber, and fish. I believe potash is used in making of fertilizer. So lots of resources found here. Again, between both countries, there's a show on TV, Gold Rush, I guess it's called, and the show is basically just people who are in Alaska and shows their exploits in trying to get gold out of the ground. I think about how we bought Alaska from Russia for 2 cents an acre, $7.2 million. What a bargain that was. You think about how many millions and millions of dollars of gold has come out of Alaska. Okay, Everglades. This is wetlands and swamps that are found in Florida. Swampland that covers about 4,000 square miles. And one way of traveling is a flatboat. Has a great big motor and a propeller on the back, a big fan blade, and it propels the ship forward. The rider sits in front of that motor and steers the boat, and it's flat so it can cross a lot of this mossy, swampy area. There's little bits of land where it can go over as long as it's got some water to reduce friction. Chaparral is scrub vegetation that can be found in Mediterranean type climates. Okay, we talked about the Great Plains previously, and prairies. These are the naturally treeless expanses of grass. So this is the type of area you would find in the Great Plains. Again, a lot of prairie grass, probably not as much as there was a few hundred years ago with all the cities and farms, highways and interstates that have been built. Has taken away some of that prairie land. Supercells. These are violent spring and summer thunderstorms that are found in the Great Plains in the eastern part of the United States. We go visit my wife's sister who lives in Lincoln, Nebraska with her husband and family, and one particular year we went on to Nauvoo from Lincoln, another 6-hour drive I think it was. And we were coming back and it started raining. Now here in Utah, you know, we get some thunderstorms and they might be 1 or 2 inches of rain per hour, and we think, wow, that's just a downpour. And that's a lot of rain, yes, but there was this one time that we were coming back from Nauvoo and it really started raining, and I had to slow down to literally 5 miles an hour because it was raining so hard. You know, I could look at the delineator post and the rumble strip on the side, and that kept me going, but when we got into Lincoln, it had let up, and the guy on the radio was saying, that was a great storm. It was coming down at the rate of 8 inches an hour. Just an amazing amount of water. So tornadoes and thunderstorms, lightning, hail, just amazing amounts of precipitation and just harsh weather that they have back there. Okay, the word Chinook is a warm, dry wind in early spring that blows down the eastern slopes of the Rockies. So for purposes of geography, that's the definition that we're looking at. However, when some people hear that word, they probably think of 2 other things. A type of salmon. This guy is a wildlife biologist, and he was walking down the river and happened to find that fish. It was dead, but huge, huge fish. And then also the name for a type of helicopter. And finally, blizzards. Winds of more than 35 miles an hour, heavier blowing snow, visibility of less than 1,320 feet, and it has to occur for 3 hours or more. So again, these are the specifics in order for it to be a blizzard. Probably said this before when we talked about it earlier. You know, we often say, look outside and it's snowing real hard. Ooh, it's a blizzard out there, but technically it probably isn't, because it has to have these factors to be considered a blizzard. Now, again, that heavy or blowing snow. Now, obviously, it didn't snow 16 feet, but it did snow a lot, and then with the wind, that wind causes that snow to go into these drifts, and those drifts can be very tall. As we travel to Lincoln, usually we go up through Wyoming. It's less strain on the vehicle, you don't have to turn as much, it's easier to drive, and they have drift fences along the way to keep the snow from going across the road. So amazing amounts of snow and precipitation there in those areas with blizzards. Okay, that finishes page 2 and also finishes chapter 5. Thank you.